Arsenal 2, Leeds United 0. And it was kind of boring, wasn't it, Kenny? We got the job done, which is all we could do. A mix and match squad tonight. No Aubameyang, no Odegaard, but we got the job done.
You know what it is? You know what it is I think what's happening when you've got players who don't play that much, the first halves tend to be like a bit rhythmless. Like, for instance, you've got players like Smith Rowe who are regulars in the side. You had Ben White who was a regular. And what we found is because the midfield are not, like I said, experienced midfield in terms of like being on the front foot, we relied a lot on our defenders to run out of the ball. Like Ben White had some big runs, Rob Holding had some runs, and I think they just struggled for movement. And because they were getting losing the ball in midfield, I thought Leeds on a counter attack absolutely murdered us. He had a pace of Danny James, the pace of Harrison. Also, I thought Martinelli struggled in that. Probably for me, struggled throughout the match. But in the first half, I thought that drama guy, like ex-Fulham guy, absolutely had him in his pocket. Absolutely had him in his pocket. He had a bit of turn of pace, but he was running into trouble. Pepe, very frustrating. Really frustrating. I mean, if that's an advert to get back in his side, you've fluffed your lines, mate. Because I'm becoming, on your advice, I've had a good look at Pepe, especially last season, and I like what I saw. And I'm still going to give him a lot of props this season. But, you have to do better than that when you get your chance. Because
he's very frustrating, isn't he? He's like, I think I said this on the end of the watch along on the call-in. It's like, I think he's trying too hard to impress. Yeah. And it's like you're trying to take on 3 or 4 players. You're trying to pop on top bins. It's like, why don't you just keep it simple, go back to basics, pass and move.
Smith Rowe. Just like Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe keeps it simple. Smith Rowe says, right, you know what? I've got runners. Just keep it simple. I think it's like Pepe today. He's thinking, right, I ain't going to get much possession because, it's not like when I was playing in France where my team was always on the front foot. So whenever he gets the ball, he feels like he has to take on a few players. He feels like he has to score that spectacular goal, and get himself, kind of noticed in the manager's faults. And I think that is where you see this problem with Pepe. Like Maitland-Niles worked hard today, but again, you could tell that, he needs a few games of playing at midfield. But, if anyone was under pressure, it was us, As I say before, Danny James, Rodrigo, 2 lightweight. They definitely missed Bamford. And I was saying to my mate, who was a Leeds fan, after time, I said, mate, you're going to rue not taking those chances because I think the second half, we've only got to be better. In the second half, I thought our tempo was a lot better. The pass was better.
Smith Rowe was getting the pitch a lot more as well. It was like we almost moved up like 10, 20 yards off the pitch.
We just changed the tempo. That's all we did, change the tempo. And, you were seeing like better football from us. And, the goal was well deserved. I thought, everyone's going to say it was inspired substitution. No, it weren't. It was just lucky. Ben White, he tried to save himself for Leicester, probably overexerted himself, got taken out. And we got a goal. As soon as the ball left Chambers' head, I've said goal. It just looked like it went over the line. It looks, and I think Millier knew it was over the line as well. And after that, only one side was winning it. Got to give Eddie Nketiah a lot of credit as well. He worked his nuts off. He struggles for game time, but he kind of didn't know it from his performance. He was sharp, wanted the ball. The ball, he was a bit lucky. The ball came off his shin, but it's one of the things where Eddie's having a bit of a rough ride. It's clearly, so a lot of Arsenal fans, me included, that we want to see more of Balogun in the side because he's just the one we've always been talking about. And sometimes we look at Eddie and say, "Mate, you're just like you're just basically like a bus 29 in the way of a Ferrari, and just get out of the way. Just stop."
What's he got to do to get a game? It's like he signed a new contract, and tonight was an opportunity. And I know Eddie scored, so it's always great to sit there and talk after the event. But it's like I expected
certain players in certain positions, like certain players won't get a chance, or like you look at Smith Rowe. He probably feels that Smith Rowe's anti-Spurs.
A player I didn't expect to start tonight, by the way.
Well, I did because there's no rhyme or reason why we can't have a strong side today. we're not in the Carabao Cup. We don't have that many injuries, and we need to, get a bit of rhythm, because I think one of the things we complain about Arteta is just that the lack of, unbeaten runs. Like today, they say it's 8, which, if you include Wimbledon as well. So I think it's all about momentum, and that's why Smith Rowe started the day. And, Ben White needs a bit of rhythm, because defenders need rhythm, and Ben White, I thought, played really, really well before he, he got taken off. Like he won his headers, his interceptions were fantastic, I thought, and bringing the ball out, which is his forte. Very, very pleased with him. I just hope it's not too serious and he's ready for Leicester. But saying that, I was having a chat with an Arsenal fan on Instagram, and one of the things he says is that he's still unimpressed. And to be honest, I understand where he's coming from, because we're still seeing bits and pieces football. I think because Arteta made a few slight changes and certain players who weren't much fit, I get where they're coming from. But sometimes you watch us and you're thinking, you know what? More of the Villa performance. You know what I mean? The Villa performance, Spurs, both good performances. We want to see that consistently. But, we just have to accept that at the moment, we're going to see a lot of this football from Mikel Arteta. It's not going to be very impressive, but it's going to be effective. And I suppose, winning ugly like we did today might build up some confidence, moving forward. But Leicester's going to be massive, absolutely massive.
Let me ask you this, Kenny, right? Let me ask you this, because we're going to do the podcast later in the week, and we'll talk more in depth about the Leicester game and stuff like that. But did anyone take Smith Rowe out of the equation? Because I feel like we all know he's going to start against Leicester. Did anybody, and Ben White, if he's fit, will probably start.
Ben White's definitely going to start.
But other than that, did anybody tonight stake a claim for you?
Not at all, not at all. And the most disappointing one is definitely Nicola Pepe, because he's what I call a first-team player. And I still believe on his day, he's the sort of player that, in terms of his third year at the football club, we should be seeing a lot more goals and assists. I hate assists, because I think that if you're a creative player, then that's a given. I don't know why people seem to be getting, and I say this with greatest respect, getting all sort of excited about assists. I want goals from players. Forward players should be on the score sheet more often. Smith Rowe, he's threatening to do that, and I'm very happy with him. That's why he's always going to get high marks from me in any player ratings, regardless whether it's my player ratings, your player ratings. Forward players should be scoring goals. But Pepe's another one. Very, very frustrating. I thought, Maitland-Niles didn't do too badly.
I thought he was man of the match.
Yeah, I thought he did really well. But, I think he suffered from that sort of, sort of malaise where, he's not playing enough games. So we have to see more of him in midfield for us to see more complete performance from AZ Maitland-Niles. But, I think people seem to forget as well. And I've forgotten that I haven't mentioned Leno, because I thought Leno's fantastic today, especially that first half.
Kenny, let me ask you this. I thought he was quality today. That low save down to the left.
Yeah, from Romarison as well.
Unbelievable. Blindsided. Great save.
But it wasn't so much that. His command of his area was a lot better, especially there was times when, Leeds put some good through balls, and Rodrigo, first touch was the greatest. But normally, Leno is a bit more
the one where Dan James brought it down.
Yeah.
If he had got the toe on that reminded me of the Salah goal. Remember the Salah goal last season where he brought the ball down and just all in one movement. If Dan James had got a toe on that, it would have been a carbon copy.
But I think what it's happening is that, obviously Leno's not going to be happy. He's going to want to leave the Arsenal at the end of the season. But he's taken for, one, the presence of Aaron Ramsdale at the club, and then Aaron Ramsdale take a shot of him for a respond like this. It's an excellent response. And it's probably the biggest kick up the backside that he needs. However, there's no sign, barring injury, of Aaron Ramsdale being demoted to his number 2, because Aaron Ramsdale, got a strong performance. But we could have a situation where Leno produces these kind of performances in cup games, because he's going to be playing in the next round in the FA Cup as well. If he does,
it'd be interesting to see. Sorry to cut you off. It'd be interesting to see that if we actually make it all the way to the final, whether he drops Ramsdale back in the starting 11. It'd be very interesting.
I fully expect that whatever happens is that all our coaches, Guardiola, Wenger did it as well, Unai did it as well. The cup goalkeeper will play in the final. And I fully expect to see that. I expect Leno, if we get to the cup final or play in a cup final, I expect Leno to play in a cup final and get the Carabao Cup, and he's hungry. But let's just hope that if anything happens to like Aaron Ramsdale, that Leno will come back and produce those sort of
and
performances.
raise the standards. Yeah, 100%.
Raise the bar. That's all we need. But
100%.
Any day we're in the next round. I'm not too bothered who we get. I just want us to get in a situation where we go all the way in the competition. There's no excuses now for Arsenal Football Club not to take the cup seriously. You're not in Europe. You want to keep all that rhythm, and it is first team games, so you can't just say it's only FA Cup. Oh, it's only a League Cup, because at the end of the day, losing games has what I call like a domino effect in a negative way on our league performances.
100%. Listen, Kenny, we're going to do player ratings later on.
Definitely.
Thanks for coming on.
At the moment, I'm watching Stav Lex Flats. Shouldn't be saying that. and someone's waters are broken, so I'll better get back to that.
Yeah,
anyway.
you better get back there real quick. Listen, thanks for coming on, man. I'll take her out.
I'll see you later.